up? It's Friday. I have a drink in hand. My guest has a drink in hand. This is Jack Parodi with the Game Day, very famously known for the Caps Off podcast. How's it going?
All right, famous, chill out, first of all, on that. That's like, I got maybe like 3,000 followers total, but Caps
You
Off
get
is fun.
recognized
Thanks for
everywhere
having
you
me.
go?
I got recognized probably like 5 times at the Niners game last week,
Oh,
actually. But
really?
I'm glad I don't get recognized out at bars because I did one time in front of all my boys, and they're like, "Oh, look at you, Mr. Influencer, dude." I'm like, "All right, fuck off. I hate that. It's the worst."
Do you say you're an influencer? Like when people ask you what your job is? Because I always
Hell,
struggle with that question. Like, how do you answer that question?
hell no. Oh my God, that's like the last thing I'll say. Like, people will be like, "Oh, so you're basically an influencer." I'm like, no, like I make like sports content, like football and
Yeah.
baseball content. Like I'm on camera and stuff, but I don't. If I
Yeah.
influence you to do anything, I'm doing
Yeah.
something wrong because you shouldn't be following my real shit. Like,
Yeah, I never know what to say, and I start like kind of like under my breath, like I work in sports, but I'm kind of an influencer, not an influencer. I create content, and at that point, it's just like
yeah,
I
I
lost
mean,
whoever I'm talking to.
you're bigger than me though. You got like a
No,
K
I'm
next to your
not.
name.
You're so
I like you can see
dramatic.
the exact amount of followers. Yours is just like we'll just round up to it with the K, like big shot.
Tell everyone about your podcast and where they can find it.
Yeah, so it's called the Caps Off podcast. Me and 3 guys that I'm really close buddies with also work with. We started like a year ago. We just cover all things NFL in like a fun, different way, kind of like, instead of like everyone that kind of tries to be like right about like their NFL takes or shit like
Yeah.
that, we don't really care. We just say whatever we're feeling and like hopefully it sticks. And I think people kind of like that. Yeah, just go on like Caps Off podcast on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. YouTube, all that stuff. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, we got to go to the Super Bowl last year for free for that, which is just
Yeah.
insane. So
Yeah. You also went to actually, you're my first guest since I hit 1K subscribers, not to brag. I
okay,
did hit
big
1K
shout.
last night. Very, very happy about that. You got to go to the Sunday night football game, 49ers Dallas. How
Yeah.
was that? Were Dallas fans
Oh,
out of control?
it was so fun because like obviously as a diehard 49ers fan, just getting to go, like I live in New York now, getting to go back to the Bay Area, like see my parents, and then just being in that environment in Levi Stadium was the first time that Niners Cowboys played in Sunday Night Football since like 1990. There with my boys, like a huge Cowboys fan. I'm just sitting there the whole time trying not to be a fucking dick. Like every time there's a pick by Dak, I'm just like, there's another one, there's 3, like
Oh, I
just
would have
keep
been
going like
such an
that.
asshole at that game.
I know. I'm like trying not to be a dick because everyone around me is being just an asshole to him, right? And he's like every time, but it was hilarious because the whole time he's like, "Hey, special teams, this is where we're good, dude." Like he would cheer on like a punt return for like 2 yards, like, "Hey, it's positive." Like it's all he's got going. But it was so funny too. Like as soon as we left, like we left early, and everyone's just yelling bye to him. I'm like, "Dude, it's okay. You're with me. Don't worry about it, bro." Like,
Do you have any 49ers futures bets, please? You have to, right?
oh, after week 1, when Brock just carved up the Steelers, I threw on
Yeah.
him to win MVP like
Did
immediately. I
you?
had to.
Because
Yeah, I
he's
wouldn't
kind
be a
of
real
him,
one.
right? Big Brock Hawk. Like, yeah,
Yeah, big cock Brock.
I
There's
just
a
mixed
reason they
that up.
call him
Big
that.
cock Brock. Did I say
Yeah,
it right
Brock,
now?
the
Yeah.
third
Okay.
leg Brock, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call him.
Whatever you
Yes,
want to call it. Yeah.
he's that motherfucker. He's
He
so
is.
God. Oh
Do you
my
love
God, I
him?
love him so much. He's like my whole life as a Niners fan. We've had just game managers. We had like fucking Jeff
Mhm.
Garcia, Alex Smith. You got all like Jimmy
Hey,
Garoppolo.
no Alex Smith shade on
I
this
love
show.
I
No
love Alex
Alex
Smith.
Smith
I'm
shade
not.
on this
All
show.
right, chill out, chill out. I love Alex Smith. That's the boy. But they're all those guys I named were just like game managers. My whole life, that's all I've known are guys that just fucking check down, maybe can scramble, make a little play. That's all they can do.
Yeah.
Brock is like, I've seen game managers. I know a game manager. He is not that. He
So you
makes
guys are
some
going to the
throws
Super
like,
Bowl, right? Like that's happening.
well, we're winning it. Yeah. I think we're
You're
probably gonna
winning it. Okay,
go.
so you're winning the Super Bowl. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Who are you
very.
playing in the Super Bowl? Who are you beating in the Super Bowl?
We're gonna beat the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. That's who we're
Okay,
gonna beat.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Or we
everyone
can
go
do the
out and
Bills.
bet
Give the
that
Bills another
matchup.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Niners over Dolphins, easy money. If you really want to be like modest about it, I'd say the Niners probably go 16-1 and win the Super Bowl, but that's not realistic. Like realistic's
Okay.
probably 17-0 Super Bowl. But
Okay, so
I'm
they're
very
going
not
undefeated.
biased.
You heard it here
Yeah,
first. They're going undefeated.
yeah, basically. 100%.
Got it. Who do you think the worst team in the NFL is right now?
Oh my God. Probably the Panthers. They're just
Yeah.
so or I mean, there's another team I could say, but I don't want to say it out of respect for you.
No, you can say
But
it. It's okay.
yeah, the Giants are
Do it.
fucking terrible. They're so
Okay.
goddamn bad
Mhm.
stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good times. Really,
Yeah.
really good. Dark times, actually, as a New York Giants fan. And then today, it just gets worse. Like, and then, they announced that Daniel's not playing, Andrew Thomas isn't playing, JMS isn't playing,
Hey,
Ojulari, who can barely stay on the field, isn't playing. You name it, they're not playing. And then we have to do it in prime time. Why?
but
Against
there's
the Bills,
something
who
you got
just
to think
lost.
about. Steph, you didn't think about this yet, though. You got a Tyrod Taylor and Brian Dable revenge game incoming. You got two
Yeah.
revenge games on the same team. That's
So
something to
have you
think
ever
about.
heard so I have a quarterback theory that I've been using to place bets for a couple years.
Okay.
And it's whenever, I'm not saying I'm doing this, but now that Tyrod is starting, he does qualify for this. So I like to take the spread of the team when a backup quarterback is starting for the first time.
Okay.
It
Like first time that
almost
year or like
always
ever?
hits. That shit was like 7-2 last year. It was awesome. I'm not doing it this time because I think that the Giants are totally fucked.
I would say if the Bills didn't lose last week, like you actually might have a chance, but now they're going to come off a loss, like pissed off, bounce back game. Like it could get ugly. But I'm going to bet on the Giants because I do it every week just because I
No,
live in
don't
New
do
York.
that. See,
It's a
it's your
terrible idea.
fault, though. It's your fault.
I'm not the jinx. You guys have covered like once. So,
No, we haven't covered yet this season.
Oh, never mind. I haven't done it
We're
one
so
time.
bad. We're a very
You guys
bad
are so bad you
club.
haven't even covered once.
No, not
Jesus Christ.
one single time.
I had
Maybe
so much
this
money on you fuckers when you played the Seahawks too. Like that was tough to watch.
It's frustrating too because, and I have said this on the show before, but when I did my preseason predictions, I actually had their record exactly as it is, but I had them upsetting the Bills, which is not happening. So this
Yeah.
week that's going to get ruined. Yeah, that's not happening.
If it happens, what'll you do? Like, what's the craziest thing you'll do if they win this weekend?
But like, what does it matter? That would be like a fluke game.
I'm just saying, like, if you think there's absolutely no way they win, what'll you do?
There's no way they win. It just isn't happening. No way.
The offensive line is so good, though. You have to think about that with the Giants. Their line is so good. Like, oh my god.
Okay, we're moving on. I have a bone to pick with you. Okay. So if we were to rank beers, drinks, pick your adult beverage, you texted me last week and said that the worst type of beer is a shower beer. That is an outrageous statement.
I didn't say the worst, but it's definitely bottom three. Like it
can't possibly be bottom three.
It's not. You know what? A shower beer is like a try-hard beer. Like you want to sound so fucking sick that you're having.
This is my theory. I have a theory. I thought of this when Sam Wagman said something about it. I have a theory that men just don't know how to drink their beer in the shower. Like you guys are too big and like sloppy and just like you can't like figure out a way to like drink the beer and not get water in it.
Well, no. See, the thing is, I've had plenty of shower beers in my life. All right, like at Mizzou, we always sucked balls in football, so we had 7 a.m. tailgates. While I'm getting ready, I'm having a natty light, obviously.
Oh yeah,
right.
And then also the rally, you have to have one. It's like that is how you rally. After.
I understand why people like the shower beer. Like if you're like about to go out or something like that, it makes sense. But I think there's a time and place for it. Like just a random Friday, like you do every single Friday, is a crazy.
But that's like a.
Why can't you just have this like the beer right after? Like.
Treat. And here's my thing. I don't drink the whole beverage in the shower. It's like part of the process.
But that's like I feel like the whole point is to finish it in the shower. It's like to maximize efficiency.
See, that's where it's a boy thing. I get it now. It's a boy thing.
Do you not finish your beer in the shower if you're going to have it?
No, I don't finish the whole thing every time.
Why not? I feel like that's the whole. You're doing it like, what are you getting? 2 sips ahead?
Shower. It depends on the type of shower. There's levels to this shit.
But then it gets all hot and steamy, and then there's condensation and shit.
Yeah, no. Okay, so what are your top? Okay, what are top 4 beers for you then?
All right, like
because I wrote out some of mine.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, I've discussed this so much with like all my friends.
Hear it.
Like number one beer by far is the first beer on a vacation beer.
Okay.
Awesome beer.
So I agree with you, but I would say that you have to put it together with like the airport beer because I think that that's the same thing.
Well, these are 2 separate beers. Like the airport beer is before your flight. That's a great beer. That's probably in the top 4 beers as well. Yeah. But when you get to like the hotel or something like that, or you go to like the first bar restaurant, like you just crack open that first beer. Oh my God. Really? You talk about a special moment. That's just something.
Vacation beer.
Beach. Oh my. I'll say vacation beer. I love It's a very niche beer, and you only have it one time in your life. But your first beer with your dad beer, awesome beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that hits
My
different,
dad's
man.
not a beer guy because doesn't eat gluten. So we have had wine, but
Oh,
I agree that that is a fun beer.
the first drink with your dad, like
Okay,
that.
fine.
That hits.
We'll take it. Number two.
Um,
Okay, very sentimental and cute of you. Okay.
very, very. Yeah. Hey, my dad's my best friend. All right.
Dads are a big thing
uh,
on the show.
oh yeah, I know any kind of dad. What
Yeah.
about good beers like the first beer to tailgate? Just the first
That's
beer
a
to
good one.
tailgate.
Okay, so I wrote
Yeah.
down, okay, yes, that's a good one. Would you put the tailgate beer? This is where I wasn't sure. Because I
Okay.
have very high up, which I'm surprised you didn't say. I think the first golf course beer hits so hard.
Oh,
Like
that's a
on
good
a
one
warm
too.
morning, like it's perfect. You've
I was
gone
gonna
through a
say
couple holes and you crack it. It's so good.
the best. My dad and I, whenever we golf, like we golf in the morning every time, like 10 a.m. and
Yeah.
on the driving range, we'll just rip a fucking like IPA together at 9 a.m. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but it doesn't count. Like when you're not drinking in the morning, like it doesn't really count towards alcoholism points if you're drinking when you're golfing in the morning. It's like fun,
No,
you know.
nothing. The drinks on the golf course don't count.
But I will say, like as a big like I'm better when I'm buzzed golfer, you got to tiptoe that line.
Oh,
Like
there's
it's
such a
so
fine
hard,
line. Yeah, there's a
and
fine line.
I think I've calculated it perfectly for me, and it's a drink every 3 holes. So you have three on the front, three on the back, and
You
you're
have a lot of
just before
discipline.
you're drunk, but you're just buzzed enough to where like you're not
Mhm.
thinking, you're just fucking cooking. Like that is a
Yeah,
special moment.
you have way you are way more disciplined than me when it comes to the golf course. But
I know I don't say that I do that all the time. It usually
okay,
tends to be like one every 2 holes or like
okay. So your
it gets aggressive.
vacation beer with dad. What was the third
Yeah.
one?
Third, the tailgate
Tailgate,
beer.
tailgate beer.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
what's four?
Four, I like a nice open bar beer, like free beer, just free beer.
Lame, lame
Any beer that's
answer.
free, I'll take it.
That's fair.
I like what's it called? Like a ski slope beer, like when you're on a chairlift
Okay.
going up.
All right,
That's a
so I
nice one
have
because you
two
smell it.
beers. Wait, you have to tell me how do we classify these? So there's two beers, and I don't know what to call them. The celebratory beer, so it's like after something
Oh,
good happens, that first like beer that you have,
yeah, it's
and the
special.
like. Okay, this is the situation. You haven't seen people in a
All right.
long time, but they're like your people. The first time
Oh,
you see them in a long time, like that first
yes.
beer with them, that slaps.
Like when you go back home every Thanksgiving and
Yeah,
like you see all your friends that
yeah.
first time. Oh, fuck, that hits
It
hard.
hits
I didn't even
different. It
think
doesn't
about
even
that.
matter if it's warm. Like I will drink it and enjoy it.
I'll take a warm expired Natty Light and it's gonna be
Oh
fucking
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I will
Like
take a
that.
skunked like Rolling Rock, and I will be very happy.
Hey, let's not talk. This is a non-Rolling Rock slander podcast right here. All
I
right,
love
we
Rolling Rock.
don't do.
Honestly, growing up, like me, growing up 12 years. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding. Like my first drinks when I was in high school is me and my like we would split a 30 rack of
a
Rolling
box
Rock.
of rocks.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
best. That's like one of my favorite parts about getting Rolling Rock is when you get a case. You're like, yo, look, boys, I got a box of rocks. Like it's so funny.
No. Oh my God, is that a thing?
That's what we called it. It was just stupid,
Oh
but yeah.
man, that and Burnett's. Those were my two
Oh
drinks.
no,
Yeah, those.
Burnett's Blue Raspberry. If I smell that, I'll puke like immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to go
Can't do it.
I'd go to the gas station and drink like one of those. Remember the Mountain Dew like volts or whatever they were?
Big Mountain
Drink
Dew
down to
kid.
the label and then you just fill the rest up with Burnett's. I was good to go for the night.
Did you ever do a sidewalk slammer in college or anything like that?
I feel like you have different names for things.
Oh, all right. Listen to this. This is fucking crazy. So you get a 40 of whatever beer you want, like Bud Light, Corona, whatever, like an actual
Yeah.
40 if you want. You drink it halfway, and then you fill
Mhm.
it up with a Four Loco,
Yeah.
and then that's the
Oh yeah.
sidewalk slammer.
Yeah.
That's a what if you want to
Before
get a
I
nice
like
fucking cooking.
concern my listeners, like the Four Locos used to be my shit in college to the point where like
Yeah.
while I'm getting ready, I'm drinking one. Then we have one
Oh,
before we go. I was a disaster. Good
it
times
was
though.
always
I can't.
you pregame the pregame with the Four Loco,
Always.
every time.
Out
You
of a
have to.
straw. It just hits different. I don't know
Oh,
what
the
it is.
straw is crazy. That's a
Yeah, it is
crazy
crazy.
move.
It's so bad. All right, let's talk about football before everyone tunes out here. Underdogs. You love underdogs. You
I'm a
make
big,
videos of it.
yeah,
You're a big underdog guy.
big fan of the
Is
dogs.
there any underdogs that you are looking at this week?
Oh, the dogs are barking right now. Let me
Are
tell
they?
you, it's oh yeah, it's going crazy right now. This is gonna be Sorry, I can't help myself. The barks just
I
come
was
out
going to
sometimes.
try to bark, so I'm glad that you did it. Because if I did
Yeah,
it,
give me
would
it. Give me
have
it.
been weird.
I want to see one. Just one little bark.
No, I'm not doing it. Keep going. Come on.
All
Let me hear
right.
them. Let me hear the locks.
Yeah. All right. Last week, by the way, I hit a 4-leg underdog parlay, $5 to win 166. I was dead serious. I was fucking
Okay,
screenshot.
who did you hit last week?
It was Jags, Colts, Jets, and fucking Steelers.
Okay, you're lucky with the Steelers. They got lucky there.
No, I just know ball.
Okay, so
Not
let's
at
hear
all,
it. What
actually.
am I betting on this week?
All right, so I have a big theory. I love home dogs, and I love people that are like on a bounce back game and like a letdown game, and they kind of like mash up.
Okay,
The
whatever.
first one,
This is
I
okay.
yeah, it's the bounce back, the
Got it.
letdown,
Okay. Okay.
and then they
Got
like
it. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, let's
It's a
hear it.
visual representation. All right. So first one I love the most is Commanders at Falcons. I think they beat the Falcons straight up. Commanders
Okay.
have to bounce back after they lost like embarrassingly in prime time to the Bears. Falcons
Okay.
just won. I think they're a little fraudulent, a little bit of a letdown spot.
Okay.
Bang, right there. Easy.
Maybe the Commanders are just
Next,
not a good football team, though.
I don't think they're that good, but I also don't think the Falcons are good.
Okay.
I'm,
All right,
I'm weird. I'm like a Sam Howell believer. I don't know why. I just am.
because you
Probably a
like
bad idea,
underdogs.
but
You said that.
yeah. I like a nice underdog story, just like America does. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. I feel like you love this team too. Texans against the Saints
Oh,
at
yeah.
home.
Look at my
I
shirt.
I didn't even realize you're wearing the Stroud.
Yeah.
Why are you a big
yeah.
CJ Stroud fan?
I am a big because if I had to have, well, my second guess is a Houston Texans fan, so I kiss ass, obviously.
Yeah, thanks for the
But
Niners
if I were
shirt.
to have a second team, like it would, I think the Houston Texans are fun. I've been saying
They're
it since
fun.
before the season started. Like their win total line is fucking higher than the Giants. Like they're a legit team. They're feisty as hell.
Oh,
I love Ryans. Like they're fun.
Yeah. I was telling everyone on my podcast, like in the offseason, I was like, guys, watch out. Like this isn't the Texans year. They'll get close to 500 and like maybe be like in the hunt graphic all year.
Yeah.
But next year they're going to playoffs going far. The year after that, they're winning the Super Bowl. I have a feeling about the
I
Texans.
think
I
they're
don't know
going to the
why.
playoffs this year. I don't care what anyone
I could
says.
see it. They might be a year ahead of my schedule, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But they're beating the Saints at home. The Saints have no fucking clue.
So Commanders, Texans.
Yeah. This is gross. This is gross. But Bears beating the Vikings at home in Chicago.
Yeah, but the thing is they do have the Vikings number at home. Like I think I said it on Monday's show. I forget what the stat is. It's like the last like 21 out of 23 meetings in Chicago versus these teams. Chicago either has won or only lost by like 3 or less.
I didn't even know that. So that's good info to have.
I just feel knowledge up in here.
Yeah, you're smart. You're really smart. Really smart. Huge head.
That one I don't know how I like, but okay.
I just like it because I feel like
Texans,
Bears. No, Minnesota's defense is ass. Justin Fields is cooking. I feel like they're gonna do something.
Fine.
This one is I don't know why. This is sometimes I just have like a feeling just like deep down in my my balls. I just feel like the Bucks beat the Lions. I don't know why. I just feel it.
I feel it kind of. Yeah.
Like I just feel it in my plums. They're just telling me like, hey, the Bucks are winning this. You have to listen to them when they start speaking to you. They don't speak often, but when they start yapping, you gotta go with them.
100%. That's why I'm betting on Evan Ingram is scoring a touchdown this week. Just so you know.
Okay, I'm about it. John Legend.
I felt it in my hypothetical plums.
I was gonna say, can we confirm or deny?
Okay, so Commanders, Bears, Texans.
Then we got Bucks and one more Patriots at Raiders. I'm not gonna bet on it. Because Patriots Raiders is absolutely fucking gross. That's two teams I have no idea. They might just both be ass. I just don't know what's going on.
You have no idea. The Patriots are definitely ass.
They're fucking ass, but I think the Raiders are too. But maybe they're not. I really don't know what's going on.
See, I think the Patriots are worse than the Giants.
They might be, honestly. Like at least the Giants aren't getting.
Failing to realize is the Giants literally are without their starting left tackle and center and their stud running back. Like I don't know what anyone wants this team to do.
Yeah, it's like I feel like you just can't do anything. Everyone's blaming Daniel too, which I think is fucking bullshit. Like they just don't realize that maybe he has no protection, offensive line or running back right now. It's like kind of impossible.
I mean, he's scared. He's like running for his life.
I can't blame him. You see a different picture every week of him after he gets sacked. He's just like looks like he's in shambles.
Yeah.
Like looks he went through war.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. You only named one of the underdogs I like this week, so I like two other ones that you didn't name. So you tell me why you don't like them. So I like the Colts. And I like Seattle this week.
See, I like Seattle too, but I'll never do anything about that because I hate them. That's just as a
Why do
Niner
you
fan,
hate them?
can't ever pick. Because they beat the shit out of the Niners like my entire life, my whole life. Every time with Russell
You hold
Wilson, I think he was
grudges
like,
then? You're a grudge guy.
yeah, I'm a grudge guy for sure,
Okay.
big grudge guy. Yeah.
Yeah. What other teams do you hate? You have other grudges?
I think that's really it. I don't like them. I don't like the Rams. I don't like Sean McVay.
Okay.
I think Sean McVay uses too much hair gel. I really don't understand
His
it.
wife is hot.
Well, obviously he's hot. Like that kind of adds up.
He's all right.
Who do you think the hottest coach in the NFL is right now? If you had to say one.
D'Amico Ryans is up there probably.
I'm going LaFleur. He's pretty.
He is pretty. Not my type, but pretty. I mean, Kevin O'Connell is pretty cute too. Again, not my type.
Bad.
But cute. Yeah. Who else? I mean, Shanahan just has it going on. Like, he just has like this swag about him that's like awesome.
I hate the flat bill hat is just, he's got to get rid of those though.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
But it's part of him. It's his, like, it's a whole thing.
At least he got rid of the little logo that he used to have on that hat. Yeah. That hat was horrible.
I think Vrabel can get it. Like, he's low key like a dad. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see you love it. He's huge too. That boy ripped.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell? I feel like you like Dan Campbell low key.
No. That's too far. You overstep now. Absolutely.
He's got Vrabel vibe. That's what
he doesn't. They're totally different.
All right, maybe.
They couldn't be any more. You're the one that makes videos about like the most attractive quarterback. So who's the most attractive quarterback?
Jalen Hurts. Light skin, blue eyes. Easy every time. It goes him, then Jimmy, and then probably Burrow. I mean, I feel like that's the consensus top three.
Yeah. He got his teeth.
Maybe right now though Joe Burrow's veneers are way too big for his mouth, first of all. They're fucking huge. Yeah. He's got to get a new pair of sunglasses. Like, please try something else out. It's been 3 years, pal. Like, let's get another thing.
Do you have any other bets that you like this week?
Any other bets? I got a couple touchdown ones that I like.
Okay, let's hear them.
I think DJ Moore finds the end zone. He's like literally the only guy that Justin Fields targets at all.
You hate the Vikings, I feel like. I'm picking up on you hating the Vikings.
I don't hate the Vikings. I just think their defense is horrible.
I don't think it's as bad as everyone says.
I don't know. I went into the season saying I think the Vikings are going to suck because their defense, so I'm sticking to my guns. Calvin Ridley, he carved up the Colts last time they played. I feel like he's going to start getting going finally this year. I like him to score. Nico Collins, every other week goes fucking
my guy.
crazy.
I love him.
It wasn't good last year, or wasn't good last week. He's going to ball out this week. I think he's going to go.
You know what? One of my first TikToks ever, I told everyone to draft Nico Collins in dynasty leagues, and no one listened to me, and I was right. So I just want to let everyone know that I was right. I have not victory lapped it yet. I was right about Nico Collins. So
congratulations on that one. That's big for you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Then I think possibly this is crazy. Boston Scott score a touchdown. If he carves up the Giants, he might carve up another New York team. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I like what you're on to there.
Yeah. And that's it. That's what we got.
That's it. That's all you got. All right. Before I get you out of here, let's rank some high noon flavors because we do not agree on this either.
Yeah, this is very contentious.
What are you drinking right now?
I got peach. I'm a peach guy right now.
Peach is in my top 5.
Yeah, it's good. It's weird. Like the place that I go get high noons, like in New York, you basically have to go to a liquor or wine and spirit store. It's weird. Yeah. And the place that I go to,
the girl from the Northeast, from literally basically New York.
Oh yeah, you live in Michigan now, so I always forget. I always forget.
I'm like, please tell me more how it works in New York.
I can mansplain a lot more things to you if you need to.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But dude, like the place that I get it, they don't sell packs. Like they only sell individual cans.
Which I got illegal, isn't it? Like, I don't think you're allowed.
It's weird. I don't know. So I got like 2 peach. I was looking for passion fruit. They don't got any, and I was like, I'll get fucking mangoes.
Who goes out of their way to get passion fruit or mango? That's disgusting. Are they in your top 5?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, I have a whole list 1 to 13 of every fucking flavor.
1 to 13. Okay, let's hear it.
Oh yeah, I was prepared. All right.
You didn't come prepared.
I told you. I'm like, I've got my rankings I'm doing right now. All right. Number 1, passion fruit. Love it. Anything passion fruit, I'm in. Yeah, I know. Bad start.
It
Shut up.
Smells like it tastes like like farts, or it's like disgusting to me. It's so gross.
I love farts. I don't know. Maybe it's just my thing.
All right,
love it.
I'll stop commenting. I'll let you get through it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Number 2, pineapple. Number 3, peach. Number 4, black cherry. 5, mango, which I know you hate. 6, pear. 7, guava. 8, kiwi. 9, grapefruit. 10, cranberry. 11, lemon. 12, lime. 13, watermelon. Hate watermelon.
That's crazy.
I know that's your favorite one. We've discussed this before, but I can't stand it.
Well, I'm 1 watermelon, 2 pineapple,
Good take.
3 kiwi, 4 peach, 5 pear, 6 cranberry, 7 black cherry, 8, and then the rest of them. Like the rest you could just put together and that's where they are.
The pear one's so underrated. No one ever they sleep on the pear. People don't like it. I don't know why. It's great.
Yeah. Except it sucks because they always mix up the packs where it's like you get stuck with one flavor you don't like.
Yeah, there's always watermelon in one of them for me, and it's just tough. But I like the individuals that way, so I can kind of like pick and choose what I want that day.
All right. Tell me the final score of the 49ers game before I let you get out of here.
Ooh, all right. So no Deshaun Watson. That's gonna be tough for them. I'll say Niners 27, Browns 6.
Browns 6. Okay. You got it. You heard it here first. Let everyone know where they can find you, and I'll get you out of here.
Yeah. Just at Jack_Parodi, Parodi, all forms, and then follow the podcast at Caps Off Podcast.
Yeah. Jack Parodi. All right. We'll see you later. I'll talk to you after the show. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Appreciate you.
And now, next guest joining me here, once we switch out, is my guy Munaf. Where is Munaf? Munaf in the building. How's it going? I can't hear you. Wait. Oh, no. We can't hear Munaf. Let's see.
How about now?
Can I hear you now? Okay, go. I should hear you now.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Oh, no. Oh, no. What's going on? I even wore a Stroud shirt and everything for you, Munaf.
Test.
Oh, there
Can you hear me?
Go. Now he's here. What's up, Munaf? How's it going?
I was unmuted, and then I muted, and then unmuted again. I guess that did the trick. I'm doing well. What's going on with you? I love the T-shirt. I know you and I were talking about it offline. But,
I know. I was supposed to surprise you, and then I kind of told on myself a little bit on Twitter. But I told you I adopted the Houston Texans as like my team to be rooting for here while things are kind of dark.
Odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year, CJ Stroud, huh?
Yeah.
Plus 175. Yeah, I love it. It's been a good season thus far. I'm still skeptical. I know you're a little higher on my Texans than I am myself, but we'll see. We'll see. I have a big test this week against the Saints. But what's going on with you? Are you still mourning?
Yeah.
Or is it an every week thing now?
It's really bad. It's not. Things are not great. Things have been better. I at this point don't even know if I can stomach to watch any more Giants games. So I'll just have to root for the good guys, and that's the Houston Texans. I feel like you have trauma from being a Houston Texans fan, so now you're nervous to buy in.
Oh, the past 2 years, I'll tell you, I've probably watched, before we hired D'Amico, over the last 2 seasons, I probably watched like 3 games.
Really?
3 games. That's how bad. Like I swear to God, like that's how bad it was down here for Houston. Like fans were like, we're out on this team until they are actually serious. The funny part is that we saw all like the rest of the league hiring these young, innovative coaches, and then we hired 2 old farts with Lovie Smith and was it David Culley at the time, which completely didn't understand. But I think at this point we kind of have to give Lovie Smith credit for botching the last game of the regular season where we could have the number 1 pick. But we ended up with the number 2 pick, and that landed us CJ Stroud. So I guess we got to thank him for that.
Oh, yeah. I love the pettiness, too, to be honest. Like, I have so much respect for, like, that level of pettiness.
Yeah. Thank God.
Good. Yeah. I think that they're going to make the playoffs this year. I swear to God.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
Not to freak you out. Wouldn't that be amazing? It's like plus 320.
I mean, it's a free roll. I think if they make
why
it.
Not?
Yeah, why not? But I still have questions about the secondary. The secondary. I know we lost Derek Stingley Jr.
Like, I think one more draft, and we're talking about like a seriously competitive team.
And I said this, I think on the first time I was on your show, I think we're a year away. I think we still need some help on the defensive side, whether it's a secondary. I'm starting to buy in on the wide receivers. I thought we still need like a legitimate number 2, but Nico Collins.
You being an optimist.
Nico Collins. And I know we talked a lot about Tank Dell as well, but yeah, I like it. Again, we had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. I mean, something you're used to as well, but they're starting to come back. I mean, would I be surprised if they made the playoffs, especially how shitty this division is? No. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way.
That's fair. You can be cautiously optimistic.
Let's put it that way.
I think that if they do go to the playoffs, though, I love Ryans to win Coach of the Year. It feels very Dable-y, but like almost better, because even our performances were not fantastic last year. Whereas like the Houston Texans look like a good football team.
I think, yeah, you're right. It's very Brian Dable, like, because we've won combined like 5 games for the last 2 seasons. And then you take the state of this organization in your first year with a rookie quarterback and go all the way to the playoffs. Yeah, I think so. I think that he would probably.
I mean, their win total line is 7.5, and the Giants is 5.5. So
I think it's also like we have an easier schedule as well, because we had where we were like last place, obviously, last year.
Yeah.
So we're playing that last place schedule. So far, so good. I know it's only 2-3. We had a chance last week, but we blew it. But we'll see what happens this week.
You'll work out some of that. Who do you think the worst team in the NFL is right now?
It has to be the Panthers, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
It has to be the Panthers. I think for Bryce Young, he doesn't really have the offensive weapons right now. And I mean, even after like week 3, we saw the rumors on X or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to call it, that the Panthers were out looking for a number 1 wide receiver, when you already had one in DJ Moore when you traded him to Chicago to get the number one overall.
So dumb. It's hilarious. That's such a poorly ran organization. And then Frank Wright doesn't know how to shut the fuck up on the mic. That was crazy comments coming out of him.
It's also that the conversations I've had with some Panthers fans that do exist, that their owner, I think it's Dave Tepper, like he wants to like flip this organization around within like 1 or 2 years versus going through a whole rebuild. Like, it's not going to work that way, especially when you have like a Bryce Young quarterback. Well, yeah, you brought in Miles Sanders, but you don't have any playmakers, man. I mean, they're gonna have to address the wide receivers in the draft or in the offseason.
Yeah, and I honestly, like, hot take over here, I have thought that Miles Sanders is one of the most overrated players in the NFL for quite some time.
Yeah, I think last year he was just a benefit of that Eagles offensive line, like one of the best in the league, right? But he's had his flashes, but I think I'm in more agreement with you that he's me. He's mid.
He's mid. Yeah, what do they say? A jag. He's just a guy.
Yeah, just a guy.
I think that's the line. Yeah. So who do you think ends up with Caleb Williams?
I think it's Chicago.
You think? Okay.
I think it's Chicago. I don't think that the Bears are sold on Justin Fields. I think as it stands right now, the season ended, they would have the number 1 and number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
So you quickly turn around your organization. You get Caleb Williams, and you probably want to take Marvin Harrison Jr. at that point. You pair those 2 guys together, especially in that division, what seems like it's a little bit wide open. I know the Lions have been playing really well.
Yeah.
But you have an opportunity to get, I mean, if you just watch this guy play football, it's like a man among boys. Like I know there's like at times where he makes some mistakes, but what quarterback doesn't? But when he's on, he is just so unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I know he won the Heisman last year, but I think at this juncture of the season, he has better numbers at this point of the season than he did last season, which is crazy to me. So if you're a Bears fan, I mean, I would tank the rest of the season, get that number 1 and number 2 overall pick.
It's so funny because I think we're going to see some seriously horrible it's still so early in the season, and there's going to be some of these teams that we think are in the running that end up sneaking out some wins towards the end and kicking themselves out of the Caleb Williams stakes. We'll see kind of what happens with the Vikings. They're an interesting team that I want to keep an eye on. Not playing as good as I think they could, but let's talk about some best bets. What are you looking at this week, player prop wise?
Well, let's just stay on the Panthers. They're playing the Dolphins this week, right? They're a double-digit underdog in that game against the Dolphins. I'm looking at Bryce Young's either over on his pass completions or his pass attempts, right?
Okay.
before you turn this game on, you're probably going to be expecting the Dolphins to be up by 2 possessions at least, just because they're that dynamic of an offense. So I think that's only going to enable the Panthers having to throw the football, led by obviously Bryce Young. We just talked about Miles Sanders, not really sold on him, but you can't run the football against this Dolphins team and expect to stay in this game. But if you kind of take a look at the last 2 weeks, Bryce Young has at least 25 pass completions in each of those 2 games. And those games were, I think, one of the higher scoring games, especially last week against the Lions, where they got down early. Bryce Young had to throw the football. He found his guy, Adam Thielen. And then if you take a look at the 5 quarterbacks that the Dolphins have played, 4 of those 5 quarterbacks have had 22.5. I think there's a number right now for his pass completion. So I think 4 of the 5 quarterbacks that have gone against the Dolphins have gone over that projection as well. So if that running game is pretty much non-existent, you're going to have to end up throwing the football, and you're probably going to be playing catch-up against this Dolphins team, which, like I said, a blink of an eye, they're down in the red zone scoring points. That was one of the ones I did like this week.
I do like that quite a bit. You mentioned Thielen, and I'm going to segue into the prop that I like. Josh Oliver, over 1.5 receptions. That's sitting at plus 140. I feel like this one's very straightforward. Like, they chose to pay this guy instead of Thielen. That's fine. He's been hitting this like every single week. I've been going after his yards most weeks. Mm-hmm. He's going over the receptions. 3 of 5 games. He would have had 4 last week. We saw that just absolutely awful dingbat of a drop. You don't have Jefferson there. The Bears are allowing the 7th most targets to opposing tight ends. So I really like that sitting there at plus 140.
That's a question I was going to ask you. That now with Justin Jefferson gone, I was debating between Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, or KJ Osborne as far as taking either their yardage or receptions, just because, I mean, there could be a world where all 3 of those guys or 2 out of those 3 guys get over their projections just because of the production Justin Jefferson had. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on either of their wide receivers or even Hawkinson going over.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at those numbers. I feel like I'm a little bit worried with the way that Hawkinson was dropping the ball last week. Like, that was very concerning. I'm just going to count it as like a wash game. If he continues to do that, it's going to be hard to count on him as far as receptions goes. And especially, they paid him all that money. He needs to catch the ball, especially if they need him there. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because I think that they still, and I said this preseason, Osborne is very liked by that regime. Like, he's going to be involved. So I would like to look at, and I wonder what that number is sitting at. Maybe Osborne overs Addison. I wonder what his receptions are sitting at. I haven't even looked at those guys.
I did this on my show earlier, and I should have wrote it down because we were talking about the same exact thing.
Jordan. So Jordan Addison's receiving yards are at 52.5. That feels quite low against a Chicago Bears team. Receptions are 4.5 plus 100. I kind of like his over longest reception at 20.5 too.
For Addison.
Yeah, that's a nice number there. And then looking at KJ, this is crazy. His receiving yards are at 39.5.
And his receptions are at 3.5.
Yeah, that seems silly to me. So I feel like I'd be all over that. I might stay away from Hawkinson a little bit, despite them giving up so many yards to tight ends.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Do you have any other props that you like?
Yeah. Let's go over to that the Commanders and the Falcons game. I actually wrote this down because this was actually astonishing to me. So I'm looking at Desmond Ridder, his longest completion to go over 34.5 yards. Okay. And let's go back to week 1 where the Arizona Cardinals played the Commanders, right? In that game, the Commanders only gave up a 31-yard reception. That was to Rondale Moore. But since then, they've given up a long completion to opposing quarterbacks of 60 yards, 50 yards, 35, 59, 37, and 58.
Wow.
So, I know Desmond Ridder hasn't been, I don't know what the word is for him, as glamorous as some of these other quarterbacks.
He looked better last week. I think you saw him kind of putting it together a little bit.
Yeah. So I think over the last 2 weeks, I think they've either opened up the playbook a little bit, or he's just got enough reps at the professional level where he's starting to get more comfortable with his guys. So that secondary for the Commanders has been absolutely atrocious. And I just rattled off the numbers. I really like their defensive line, but their secondary has been in shambles. So Desmond Ridder, just for context, over the last 2 weeks, he's thrown a long completion of 32 and 33. So I think asking him to get 2-3 more yards on a completion, which he's done over the last 2 weeks against a secondary that's done it every single week. I'm going to get on that for
They're
sure.
kind of taking the training wheels off of him a little bit too. I think that's what part of that success you saw last week was more they're trusting him a little bit more and kind of letting the leash go a little bit further. A guy that I wanted to ask you about. So I already took this number. It was at 42.5. It's moved to 44.5 receiving yards. I'm starting to get nervous that the public is very high on this guy this week, and now I kind of hate it. So it's Josh Downs. So right now it's over 44.5 yards. And his receptions are also at 3.5. And I'm starting to like the receptions, I think, a little bit more. You see Minshew, he has no problem throwing it downfield. He's been looking to Downs the times that we've seen them play together. I feel like he could end up getting like 8 targets this game, and it would be nothing. He has more receiving yards than Pittman. It feels very straightforward, but it also feels like a trap because everyone's so excited about it.
I think for the Colts, and I think we've talked a lot about this as well, like and other pods that I also listen to, is that the Colts don't have that number 2 wide receiver, right? And I think that Josh Downs is possibly establishing himself as maybe that second wide receiver for this Colts offense. But you take a look last week, 6 receptions on 6 targets, 97 yards. Even against the Ravens a couple of weeks back, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 57 yards. So I don't hate the yardage, but I kind of like your angle of taking the over on his receptions because if I don't think it'll turn into a shootout between a division game here, but I think they're kind of easing Jonathan Taylor back in after missing the first 4 weeks. I know Zach Moss has been really good for them as well, but we know Gardner Minshew likes airing it out, and I think Josh Downs might just be the beneficiary. So I would probably look at his receptions.
Yeah, for sure. And I like this. I don't know what the line moved to, but when it did open, I like the Colts a little bit to cover here. I think Minshew is a serviceable backup quarterback that can
revenge game for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, I have a Minshew Jaguars shirt that I'll have to break out at some point. I forgot I had that very funny. Do you have another prop that you like?
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I always have like 10
I know. Yeah. You give me one more and then we'll switch to touchdowns and then I'll get you out of here so you can enjoy your Friday.
Let's see. Where do we want to go? Let's go over to the game between. There's one that I really liked as a best bet that I gave out on my show. I'll give it to you here as well. I don't know why I'm obsessing over this game between the Panthers and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I've been on this every single week and it's cashed every single week and the books still haven't adjusted, and that's Adam Thielen.
Yeah, what can they come on, catch up here? Like
no, don't catch up so we can keep cashing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you take a look over the last 4 weeks, he's had a total of, let's see here, 36 receptions over the last 4 weeks, and he's had at least 7 receptions over the last 4 weeks in a row. And the targets are there for him as well. He's had at least 8 targets in 4 straight weeks. 2 of those 4 weeks, he had double-digit targets, 13 and 14. And he's also adding up on the yardage as well. Last week, he had triple digits, 107 against Minnesota, 76, 145 against the Seattle Seahawks. So I think, again, we talked about how the Panthers are in the market right now to find that number 1 wide receiver. But at this point of the season, old man Adam Thielen is that number 1 wide receiver right now for the Carolina Panthers. So we talked about the game script that if the Panthers do get down, let's say double digits or multiple possessions, that they're going to have to throw the football. So he's going to have to go to a reliable Adam Thielen. So either you want to take,
that's what I call him. He's reliable.
Either if you want to go over on his receptions, that's at 5.5 at even money, or on his yardage, I would ladder it up to 100. Again, I would not be surprised if he gets in triple digits.
I love it. And he looks quick. Like, he looks like he had a very good offseason. Whatever he did to train, like, he looks awesome. He kind of has a little bit juice back into him. I'll give my last one here, and this is more just so I have something to root for. There's not a lot behind this. Graham Gano, best player on the New York Giants, to go over 1.5 field goals made. plus 170. I just like the number there, and I have to have something to root for. There's not a lot that I will look for in that game outside of a touchdown prop that I'll give out in a second. But gotta get excited about something. So the best player on the New York Giants.
I mean, I can't hate it at plus 170 right now. I mean, that's a hell of a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to take it at plus
anyways.
170.
All they know how to do is kick field goals. So
yeah, I don't hate it at that plus 170. So I mean, it gives you something to root for.
I need something. It's going to be a rough game. What touchdown prop are you looking at this week?
Yeah, so I think we mentioned when we talked about the Texans how they're struggling against the running backs.
Yeah,
I think this might be the Alvin Kamara week. I know that he's at a minus price right now to find the end zone around minus 114, but I'm looking at him to score multiple touchdowns in this game. Okay. That 2+ touchdowns, you can find it anywhere from, let me see here, either anywhere from 4-1 all the way up to 5-1. And when we talk about running backs in the league, like Alvin Kamara is one of those few that can either rush it in from the backfield, or you can also catch it, right? We saw that first week when he came back. He had 11 or 13 receptions for 40-something yards.
Ridiculous.
And I know, the Texans have been struggling a little bit against that running back position. So I don't hate the over on his receiving yards. I'll throw that one out there as well, 28.5 for Alvin Kamara. Okay. But I think this might just be that big Alvin Kamara week where he does find the end zone, if not once, at minimum at once, but if not, I won't be surprised if he gets in there twice. So at 4-1, 5-1, definitely shop around for the best number, but I think it might be the Alvin Kamara week.
Yeah, I love that. I am running it back to Zay Flowers. It's got to be the week. The Titans are giving up a hell of a lot of yards to wide receivers this year. He's got a very elite target share. It's time for a touchdown. So you look at the guys that have the most targets without a touchdown yet. It's Hopkins, then Flowers. So literally second most targets without a touchdown quite yet. I kind of like the Hopkins angle too. I don't know how I'm going to play it, but I kind of like Hopkins this week as well. Outside of that, I don't know why my gut's telling me Evan Ingram is also going to score a touchdown. I'm not really sure why. And then James Cook to score 2 touchdowns. We've seen what the New York Giants are against running backs. It's not pretty. And that number, it's not even really a good number. It's like plus 360, plus 460. So you're not really getting much because it feels very possible.
That just kind of tells you you're usually looking at either running backs or wide receivers that if you're going to score 2+ touchdowns, you're looking at least a 5-1 or 6-1. But now when the books are telling you that it's at plus, so bad 360, 4, whatever the number might be. I mean, that's just kind of telling of how bad the defense is against a running back position. Yeah. All
right. Before I let you get out of here, is there a team that you think is going to pull an upset or some type of underdog that you like this week?
I thought if Deshaun Watson was playing this week, I would have probably looked at it that way because historically Kyle Shanahan, when he goes up against Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator for the Browns, he hasn't been very successful, especially against a spread. But I mean, the 49ers are a wagon right now. I can't really go against that. I really don't like. I mean, I think the only one you could consider is the Cardinals, but the Rams, I think, are going to start to go on a run here.
I think so too. I think it's time. They're going to get hot. I think this is the game they get hot,
especially with them getting Cooper Kupp back. But I mean, if you want a small dog, maybe the Patriots against Josh McDaniels there, Belichick against his former against his former offensive coordinator. But it's an ugly slate this week. It really is.
It is. Yeah. There's some good games and the rest of them, it's I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of action on them. Let everyone know where they can find you. Your podcast is fantastic. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to yours every single week. Let people know where they can find that, where they can find you, and I'll get you out of here.
Yeah, find me at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Obviously in the midst of NFL right now, NFL Gambling Podcast, Propcast, where we only talk about player props for Thursday Night Football. Also for the Sunday games as well. We'll be firing it up for NBA here that starts in about a week and a half as well for the Propcast. MLB playoffs are still going on, so we got the MLB pod and also NBA pod. And like I mentioned, NFL and Propcast. And you can follow me on X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, at SportsNerd824. DMs are always open, always willing to have conversations with people.
Yeah, you're the best. Always love having you on. If you're still watching, Ryan hates when I say that, but Ryan's not in the building. If you're still watching, subscribe and like. Thanks for 1,000 subscribers.
I got a question. Now, why is Ryan always off every time I'm coming on?
I don't know. Is he like he doesn't want you? He doesn't want to talk to you for some reason.
Oh, I don't know, but we've had offline conversations or something. But I don't know.
Have to catch him off guard. I'll have to get you back on. We can celebrate the Houston Texans making it to the playoffs. I will be back Monday. I'll post my best bets on community and YouTube. See you guys later. Have a good weekend. Grab a drink. I appreciate you. See ya.
See ya.
Watch him make it, break it down.